Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Wherever you are in the world, welcome and thank you for joining us. My name is Carl Anthony, and this is AutoVision News live from AutoSens Detroit 2023. We are set up in the heart of the Motor City at the Huntington Place in downtown Detroit. Joining us is Clement Nouvel, LiDAR Technical Director at Valeo Group, a leading supplier in the field of safety and automated driving, and a market leader in automotive-grade LiDAR sensors. Prior to his position, Clement was Valeo Active Safety Business Development Director and held several positions at the Renault-Nissan Alliance, focused on innovation engineering and product management across France and Asia. We welcome him back to AutoSens and to AutoVision News. Clement, good to see you.
Happy to be here.
Indeed. So I guess what's new since the last time we spoke? We spoke a year ago, so
Right.
What's happened in the year?
So last year we spoke about SCADA 3 and the fact that we were launching a sensor which is going to bring tremendous new value on the market. And today we are very happy, and we did a press release announcing that we have already accumulated more than €1 billion order of SCADA 3, which is applying on different customers. And that's what makes it even more interesting for us and strategic. It's that we are getting business on passenger cars, which is mostly level 3 autonomous driving features, but also on robot taxis. And that's really a good thing for us. And all these are global players in this field. So we are very happy to see that the traction on SCADA 3 has materialized, and that's far from being the end. But just to add on this, Valeo is turning 100 this year. And that's another thing. We are a 100 years company. So it means that we are deeply rooted in the automotive history, and the products that we are developing are fitting well with all the trends of the automotive that has evolved over 100 years. And especially this translates into our product, which is an automotive grade LiDAR, and that's a key part for being capable of distributing such a technology on the market.
Right. And you are overseeing all of the LiDAR product development at Valeo. Walk us through the day-to-day of your job and kind of give us a feel for what you do each day.
Yeah, so that's product development is one part of it. And I'm actually overseeing the teams which are located between Germany, Czech Republic, Egypt, and a couple of customer offices across the world, which are developing what we call our platform. Our platform, that's the product that we develop that's going to be generic enough to be offered to as many customers and as many applications as possible. And that's the core of our technology development. On top of that, I'm also paying attention to all the trends, the technology trend, the upstream trends, with whom we should partner, all the innovation aspects. And finally, the business development, and that's also part of my job being here, making sure that we capture the trends, but we also influence the trends, and we are where this voice has to be channeled.
Yes. So many different LiDAR companies. How is Valeo different? What differentiates you in the market?
That is true. Many LiDAR companies, although the market is in the consolidation phase, and this, everybody is aware of that. So there are probably less LiDAR companies today than a year ago. That's the first thing. The second thing is this consolidation is reaffirming our strong position of being a long-term automotive player, as I said, 100 years. And especially our take from the beginning on LiDAR, which is developing a sensor which would be automotive grade, which would be offered at a price which is compatible with passenger cars, OEM's expectations. And as well that we can produce in large scale. And this differentiates us a lot from the other players and many other players which have started developing LiDARs as a means for actually validating the other sensors on the car, which is called the ground truth. LiDARs at the beginning were more a laboratory sensor. And we have not been part of this market from the very beginning. In 2010 or so, we've been focusing on developing this technology so that it can be actually at the end landing in your car. And that's the core of Valeo strategy.
Yes. You mentioned your car. Are there any vehicles today that we would know that have your LiDAR technology?
Absolutely. So our first customer was Audi, and there are many Audi cars today on sale that you can buy, that you can drive, which have our LiDARs. The second one was Honda, which is a little bit more exclusive and located in Japan. And that's the first which implemented level 3 automated driving. And the third one, which is also on sale, is the Mercedes S-Class. So it's also a little bit exclusive, but nevertheless, that's another one implementing level 3 that customers can buy. And just as a segue to the market aspect, Mercedes-Benz has been developing and rolling out their level 3 in Germany,
Yes.
but it's going to soon also happen in the USA.
Yeah.
So this level 3 deployment is happening as we speak.
Right. Well, a premium car would expect you would have premium technology, premium LiDAR for a premium car.
Correct.
Yeah. What is next for you in the ADAS space? What do you see? What's next?
First, for LiDAR, we are pushing the boundaries, and that's what I'm going to explain
Yes.
later in this conference,
Yes.
of the performance of LiDAR,
Yes.
as well as also pay attention to cost, making sure that we can address a wider customer base. That's for the LiDAR part.
Yes.
And a lot of is happening nowadays, and we will see further generations which will gradually improve all these aspects to support level 3 deployment and potentially level 2 plus as well. ADAS as a whole is a very innovative company and has been recognized as such recently for many awards, like for example, the amount of patents that we have. So for Valeo as a whole, we are developing ADAS very strongly. We are the leader today in ADAS, and that's what we call actually internally the ADAS acceleration.
Yes.
There is really some deep acceleration in the way these features are going to be accessible for all people.
Right.
And they are going to address mainly two aspects. The first one is safety, making cars safer and roads safer.
Yes.
And that's probably the first and foremost aspect we are concentrating on, and we've been working on since the 90s.
Yes.
The second one is autonomy. It's more or less free time, your capability to be in your car and to not drive and take advantage of this time. And
Right.
both, of course, go hand in hand.
Right.
So what's coming next for Valeo is very much deploying these technologies,
Sure.
making them accessible. You will see these technologies being in the upcoming vehicles, very accessible, and making sure the roads are safer, of course.
Right. Clement, that's what's next for Valeo. What about just maybe what might be next in general? So what do you see either in the LiDAR space, the ADAS space? What trends do you see on the horizon that maybe we should be aware of or paying attention to?
So my keyword for that would be delegation.
Okay.
We, over the history of automotive, we've been having features which allow us to delegate part of the driving process.
Sure.
And level 3 now is on sale. Level 3 is really a feature where you delegate the driving completely. So I think people should be aware of how this is playing out, how safely and with the right level of features they will get these functions, these options available on their cars.
Right.
Be it on a car that you buy, where you have more capability to dedicate, to have time back for yourself and delegate the driving process.
Right.
But as well as you take a taxi, which could be a robot taxi.
Yes, yes.
And here it's about delegating the whole ride from A to B. And delegation for me is the key word that people need to keep in mind.
Yes. Last question before we wrap up, Clement. When you get one of those design wins with, say, like a major OEM that we've talked about, when you get a design win, how does that make you and your team feel? Describe the process when you get those design wins. How does that make you feel?
Well, that's very basic. The whole team, and that's always fascinating to see that all engineers, all people in the plant as well, are thrilled to see that we're successful, and we've been a lot. We are even happier when we can announce it publicly, like we did for Stellantis, because we got the authorization.
Yes.
And more will come. So stay tuned, because there will be more awards, but also there is an SOP, so a start of production for a car by an Asian OEM having Scala 2 on their cars, and that's going to be public next week, so stay tuned.
Okay, Clement, I can't wait to follow up with you again. Hopefully it'll be sooner than a year, but in the meantime, have a great rest of the show. Safe travels back home from all of us here at AutoVision News. Thank you for sharing your expertise and your thought leadership.
Thank you very much.
More to come from AutoSens Detroit here on the AutoVision News LinkedIn page from the Huntington Place in downtown Detroit. I'm Carl Anthony, AutoVision News.